Hey everyone, welcome to another deep dive with us. Today we're going to be looking at blogs.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah. We've got some really cool articles from LearnXYZ.
Yeah.
And actually, if you want to check those out yourself, head over to https://learnxyz.in.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, we're going to be talking all about blogs, like what they even are
Yeah.
and how they can be used to connect with people and
Right.
build a following and even, maybe even make some money.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I think when a lot of people think about blogs, they still think about those old school online diaries.
Yeah.
But what we see in these Learn XYZ articles is that blogs have really evolved.
Yeah.
They're so dynamic now.
Right.
They
Yeah.
can be used for self-expression or for sharing knowledge.
Yeah.
They can be a really powerful branding tool.
Yeah.
It's like they're like a digital Swiss Army knife
Okay.
with the blade for every need.
I like that.
Yeah.
So, okay, before we get too far ahead of ourselves,
Yeah.
let's just take a step back.
Yeah.
And, Learn XYZ starts off with a pretty basic definition.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying that a blog is essentially just a website where you can share your thoughts and your ideas and information and anything that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
But what I thought was really interesting is that it's not just for individuals anymore.
Oh, yeah.
It's like
It's definitely.
businesses and organizations are using blogs in some really
Yeah.
cool and creative ways.
Totally. And I think that's one of the things that makes blog so compelling is that they're so versatile.
Oh,
You could have somebody who's like a hobbyist
yeah.
who's sharing their passion for vintage video games.
Right.
And then you could have a Fortune 500 company using a blog to connect with customers.
Yeah.
And they're both using that same basic format to achieve their goals.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
But okay, so like with all the other ways that people can share their voice online these days, like social media
Right.
and video platforms and podcasts and all of that.
Sure.
Why should someone even consider starting a blog in the first place?
That's a great question, and Learn XYZ really dives into that.
Okay.
And it boils down to a few key advantages that you just don't get
Okay.
in the same way with other platforms.
Okay.
So, for example,
Yeah.
one of the biggest advantages is self-expression.
Okay.
A blog gives you this really unique blend of creative freedom
Mm-hmm.
and structure.
Okay.
You have complete control over the narrative.
Mm.
You can dive deep into niche topics,
Right.
and it's all in your own voice and style.
So it's not just about sharing these little like snippets of information like on social media.
Exactly.
It's about really like
Yeah.
fleshing out your ideas.
You have the space to
Yeah.
really explore and
Yeah.
go in depth.
and go in depth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Learn XYZ also talks about knowledge sharing
Yes.
at a big advantage.
It's huge.
So like, how does that work with blogs?
Well, blogs are a perfect platform for creating really in-depth tutorials.
Yeah.
You can share research findings.
Right.
You can collaborate with other experts.
Yeah.
Blogs can really become these valuable resource hubs.
Yeah. I can see how that would be really appealing to someone who's really passionate
Yeah.
about a particular topic
Yeah.
and wants to kind of like,
And share it with the world.
share their expertise with the world. Exactly.
Right.
But okay, so let's say you're like super passionate about something
Uh,
and you start this blog.
yeah.
How do you actually get people to read it?
Well, that's a great question. And that's where
Yeah.
Learn XYZ really emphasizes this idea of community building.
Okay.
So, through using comment sections and through social sharing and, using different interactive features, you can really create this sense of shared space
Uh-huh.
and belonging
Okay.
around common interests.
So it's not just about talking at people.
Exactly.
It's about creating that dialogue.
It's about fostering that two-way dialogue
Yeah.
and making people feel like they're a part of something bigger.
Yeah, like a community.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we've got self-expression, we've got knowledge sharing,
Right.
we've got community building. What else?
Well, another big advantage that Learn XYZ highlights is personal branding.
Okay.
So, a blog can really become this online platform
Right.
to establish yourself as a thought leader.
Uh-huh.
You can showcase your skills and achievements.
Okay.
You can build a professional network.
So it's kind of like a...
It's almost like a dynamic digital resume
Yeah.
that's constantly evolving.
Okay, cool. So we've talked about self-expression, knowledge sharing, community building, personal branding.
Uh-huh.
But Learn XYZ makes it really clear that blogging can be a lot more than just a passion project.
Yeah.
It can actually be a way to
Yeah.
grow your business and even generate income.
Absolutely. The business applications of blogging are huge.
Okay.
And LearnXYZ really talks about how you can use it to boost your website's SEO, to increase brand awareness, to generate leads, and even to directly sell products or services.
Yeah. And they talk about monetizing your blog, which is super fascinating.
Yeah, that's what got me hooked.
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah, like making money from a blog.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There are all sorts of ways to do it.
Like what?
You can use advertising, you can do affiliate marketing, you can sell digital products like online courses or ebooks.
Wow.
It's like a whole mini economy.
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, so it sounds like blogging can be this amazing tool, but LearnXYZ also emphasizes the importance of the long-term impact.
Yeah, it's not about overnight success.
Right.
It's not about...
get-rich-quick schemes.
Get-rich-quick schemes, exactly.
Yeah.
It's about consistently building an audience over time, establishing your authority, and creating a body of work that has lasting value.
So it's not just about what you publish today.
Right.
It's about creating something that can...
Exactly.
It's about laying the foundation for a sustainable online presence. Okay, so that all sounds really great in theory, but how does somebody actually start a blog?
Well, that's where the rubber meets the road.
Yeah.
And that's where LearnXYZ really...
Like, what are the practical steps?
Yeah, what are those first steps?
Yeah.
So, well, the good news is that starting a blog is actually a lot easier than it used to be.
Okay.
LearnXYZ gives this really great step-by-step guide that walks you through choosing a blogging platform.
Okay.
Like WordPress.
Okay.
They recommend WordPress for beginners.
Yep.
And it shows you how to select a domain name.
Okay.
And even customize the look and feel of your blog.
Okay, so they make it seem pretty doable.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And setting up the technical side is really just the beginning.
Right.
What about the actual content?
Yeah, that's the big question.
Right, like what are you actually going to write about?
Yeah.
So LearnXYZ really emphasizes this idea of finding your niche.
Okay.
So like that specific area of interest or expertise that will, make your blog stand out and attract a dedicated audience.
And they give some examples of that, right?
Yeah, they give some great examples.
Like what?
So, popular niches like lifestyle, personal finance, food technology, travel, and even, hyper-specific niches like sustainable living or vintage video game collecting.
So it's not just about picking something you're passionate about.
Right.
It's about making sure that there are other people out there.
Exactly. You need to make sure there's an audience for it.
Yeah, who are interested in the same stuff.
Right.
Okay.
And once you've figured out your niche, then LearnXYZ really dives into this whole idea of creating content that's both engaging for readers, but also optimized for search engines.
Okay, so that's where SEO comes in.
Exactly. SEO is super important.
Yeah, I have to admit, that's the part that always kind of trips me up.
I know it can be a little intimidating.
Yeah.
But LearnXYZ breaks it down into manageable chunks. So they start with the foundation of SEO, which is keywords.
Okay, before we go any further, can we just define what keywords actually are?
Sure. So keywords are basically just the terms that people use when they're searching online.
Okay.
So, if you're writing a blog post about, let's say, how to make the perfect cup of coffee.
Okay.
Some of your keywords might be, best coffee beans, French press techniques, things like that.
So figuring out the right keywords is like the key.
It's like unlocking the secret code to getting found by your target audience.
It's like choosing the right bait to attract the fish you're trying to catch.
I love that analogy. Okay, perfect.
So they walk us through the process of finding these keywords.
Yeah, they give you a bunch of different strategies.
Like what kind of strategy?
Well, first of all, you really need to understand your target audience.
Okay.
Who are you trying to reach with your blog? And then they talk about using tools like Google Keyword Planner to see what people are actually searching for.
Oh, so you can see what's popular.
Exactly.
Okay.
And they also talk about doing competitive research.
What's that?
So that's where you look at other successful blogs in your niche.
Okay.
And you see what keywords they're using.
Oh, so it's like spying on the competition a little bit?
Well,
in a good way?
In a good way, it's more like, getting inspiration from what's working for others and seeing how you can apply those strategies.
Okay, so it's more than just about sprinkling those keywords.
It's so much more than that.
Throughout your blog post, what else do they talk about?
Well, they talk about structuring your blog posts
Okay.
in a way that's both logical for readers
Uh-huh.
and easy for search engines to understand.
Okay.
So that means using clear headings
Right.
and subheadings,
Right.
breaking up long blocks of text with bullet points.
Yeah. Bullet points are always good.
They're your friend.
Okay.
And also using images.
Right.
And writing in a concise and engaging style.
So it's about finding that balance between writing for humans
Exactly.
and writing for the algorithms.
Yeah, you got to keep both of them happy.
And one of the things they really emphasize is those little snippets of text.
Yes, the meta descriptions.
Yeah.
So important.
I always forget about those.
I know they're easy to overlook.
Yeah.
But they're like mini advertisements.
Okay.
For your blog.
So it's the first thing people see.
Yeah, when your blog post shows up in the search results.
Right. And you want to make a good first impression?
Exactly. So you got to make them enticing.
Okay.
You got to make people want to click through.
And they also talk about headlines.
Right. Yes, headlines are crucial.
Okay.
You got to grab attention,
right.
Encourage people to click through.
So what's the secret to a good headline?
Well, it's about being informative.
Okay.
Intriguing. And incorporating relevant keywords.
So you got to make it interesting, but also make sure that it's...
Yeah, you got to make sure the search engines understand what your blog post is about.
Okay, so we've talked about keywords, meta descriptions, headlines.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot to keep track of.
It can be a lot.
Yeah. Are there any tools that can help with this?
Absolutely.
Okay.
LearnXYZ introduces some really helpful SEO tools.
Okay.
That can analyze your blog posts and give you feedback.
On what?
On how well you're doing with keywords.
Okay.
With readability. And overall optimization.
And what are some examples of these tools?
So tools like Yoast SEO.
Okay.
And Rank Math.
Okay.
These are great.
So it's like having a virtual SEO coach.
Exactly. They're built right into your blogging platform.
Okay, cool. But I'm just curious, if you rely too much on these tools, won't your writing start to sound...
Yeah, that's a valid concern.
Yeah, like robotic or formulaic.
Right. And LearnXYZ actually addresses that. They say that, these tools are incredibly useful, but you shouldn't treat them as gospel. Right. Your human judgment, your creativity, your understanding of your audience should always be the final guide.
So don't let the algorithms totally take over.
Exactly. You still need to sound like a human.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, the most important ingredient in a successful blog is high-quality content.
Yeah.
That genuinely resonates with your readers.
It's got to be good.
It's got to be good.
No amount of SEO is going to fix that.
Exactly. No amount of SEO wizardry can compensate for, boring or poorly written material.
Okay, so let's talk about the writing itself.
Okay.
What does LearnXYZ say about crafting content that people actually want to read?
Well, they give some really insightful tips.
Like what?
They start by emphasizing the importance of grabbing the reader's attention right from the get-go.
So like a hook?
Yes, exactly. You need a hook.
Okay.
Something that immediately pulls them in, makes them want to keep reading.
Like a good opening line in a novel.
Exactly. Or a provocative question.
Yeah.
That sparks curiosity.
Okay, so once you've got them hooked, how do you keep them reading?
Well, you got to deliver on that promise.
Okay.
LearnXYZ talks about the importance of building trust with your audience.
Okay.
So, providing accurate information, being transparent about your sources, and writing in an authentic and relatable voice.
So, no clickbait headlines.
No clickbait.
That lead to disappointing content.
Exactly. Okay. And I'll be genuine.
So it's not just about the accuracy and the authenticity.
Right.
It's also about making your writing like easy to read and enjoyable.
Exactly. Readability is key.
So do they give any tips for that?
Oh, yeah. They give a ton of tips.
Okay. Like what?
So things like breaking up long paragraphs.
No one wants to read a wall of text.
Exactly. Using bullet points effectively.
Yeah, bullet points are good.
Subheadings. And even incorporating visuals like images and videos to add variety and keep things interesting.
So it's all about the user experience.
Exactly.
Making sure that your blog is easy to navigate.
Yeah.
Easy to read and enjoyable.
Right. You want people to have a good experience when they visit your blog.
And they also talk about encouraging interaction.
Yes. Interaction is so important.
How do you do that?
Well, responding to comments, asking questions, even running contests or challenges.
Okay.
All of these things can help foster a sense of community.
Yeah, it makes people feel more involved.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. Okay, so we've talked about like the nuts and bolts of blogging, like how to get started, how to optimize your content. But now I'm curious about like the people behind the blogs. Like, who are these successful bloggers and what can we learn from them?
Yeah, LearnXYZ actually profiles a bunch of really interesting bloggers from all over the world.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that's really inspiring is just how diverse they are. You know, there's no single blogger mold.
Right.
But one thing that really struck me is that a lot of them, even the ones who are now like household names, you know, they started with just a simple idea.
Yeah.
And a passion for sharing it.
Yeah.
You know, like Ariana Huffington, for example.
Oh, yeah.
You know, her blog, The Huffington Post.
Yeah.
Like that became a media powerhouse.
Right.
But she started small.
Yeah, that's a great example because I think it's easy to look at those big success stories and be like, oh, I could never do that.
Exactly. But everybody starts somewhere.
Yeah.
And LearnXYZ also profiles Pat Flynn from Smart Passive Income.
I've heard of him.
Yeah, he's great. And he's super transparent about his journey.
Okay.
You know, he started by just sharing his experiences with online business and generating passive income. And his blog just grew organically from there.
Yeah, I think people really connect with him because he seems so down to earth.
He's very relatable.
Yeah, it's not like some, get rich quick scheme.
It's about building something.
It's about providing genuine value.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And then there's someone like Perez Hilton.
Oh, yeah, Perez Hilton.
Kind of like...
He built this huge following by tapping into pop culture.
Yeah.
Celebrity gossip.
Right.
You know, it's a reminder that sometimes a strong personality and a willingness to push boundaries can also be part of the recipe for success.
Yeah, it's interesting how like different approaches can work depending on your niche and your audience.
For sure.
But one thing that all of these successful bloggers seem to have in common is this ability to really connect with people.
Absolutely.
Like authentically.
It's all about authenticity.
Yeah, and they also seem to be really good at adapting to the times.
LearnXYZ talks about how the pandemic really spurred growth in certain niches.
Like what?
Like sustainable living, home workouts, mental health resources.
Right.
And these successful bloggers, they were able to kind of like...
pivot. Yeah, pivot and tap into those current events and those shifting interests.
It's like having your finger on the pulse of what people are talking about.
Exactly. Yeah. And, they're not just creating content in a vacuum. A lot of them have become thought leaders in their fields. Like Rand Fishkin, for example. He's the co-founder of Moz. And his blog, Whiteboard Friday, is like known for its SEO analysis.
So it shows you how blogging can really establish you as an authority.
Yeah, even in a really technical field.
And then on a completely different note, there's Michelle Phan.
Oh, yeah, Michelle Phan.
The beauty influencer.
Yeah, she started out by sharing makeup tutorials, product reviews.
And then she was able to use that platform to launch her own business.
Exactly. She has her own product line now.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
It's crazy how blogging can open up all these doors.
It's not just about writing.
Right.
It's about building a brand.
Yeah, and a platform. Yep. And LearnXYZ also highlights some bloggers from India.
Yes.
Like Amit Agarwal from Revenal.
Yep. He focuses on technology and digital productivity.
Okay.
And then there's Harsh Agarwal from Shout Out Loud. And he actually focuses on teaching people how to blog.
Oh, wow. That's meta.
Yeah, it's meta blogging.
Okay.
So there's an audience for everything. Yeah. And if you can help people achieve their goals, that can be a really fulfilling path.
Okay, so looking at all these examples, it's clear that there's no magic formula for blogging success.
Right.
But they do all have a few things in common, right?
They do. That passion, persistence, and a deep understanding of their audience.
So it's about finding something you love.
Yes.
Sticking with it and knowing who you're talking to.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's say someone's listening to this.
Yeah.
And they're feeling inspired to start a blog.
Awesome.
Or maybe they already have a blog.
Yeah.
And they want to take it to the next level. What would be your biggest piece of advice?
I would say first and foremost, find your unique voice.
Okay.
And focus on a topic that truly excites you.
Yeah.
Because that passion is going to shine through in your writing.
Right.
And it's going to attract an audience who resonates with what you have to say.
And don't be afraid to put yourself out there.
Yes.
Experiment. Learn as you go.
Exactly.
It's a journey.
It's a journey, not a destination.
Yeah.
And the more you experiment and learn, the more your blog will grow and evolve.
And, these LearnXYZ articles have been so helpful.
Yes, they're amazing.
If you want to check them out for yourself, head over to https.learnxyz.in.
Yes, definitely do that.
So this has been a really insightful deep dive into the world of blogging.
I agree.
Thanks for joining me.
Of course.
And thank you to LearnXYZ for providing these incredible resources.
Absolutely.
And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in.
Really appreciate you.
If you enjoyed this episode,
yeah,
be sure to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends.
And leave us a comment.
Yes, leave us a comment.
We'd love to hear from you.
We'd love to hear from you. Until next time.
See you later.